The Fantasmagorium show presents Guns, Martinis, Gadgets, and Guns. The year was 1954. Ian Fleming had garnered some regard from fans of fiction. His gentleman spy creation of James Bond was making waves in the publishing world. Naturally, Hollywood came calling. They only had one change to make. James Bond should be American. Starring Barry Nelson, Peter Lorre, and Linda Christian, James Bond begins at 1954's climax of Casino Royale. My name is Scotty. My opposite number, Catherine, is here. And Steve is winning 86 million francs at the Baccarat table. You know what? I should reread these and rehearse. How are you, Kat? What's going on?
I'm all right. Just ready for the first official commentary watch along for Martinis, Gadgets, and Guns.
This is
You can find this film. You can find this film for free on YouTube. What YouTube channel is it on, Scotty?
If you put in Casino Royale 1954, you can find it. Now, I am watching it from Cult Cinema Classics. We've never met, but Cult Cinema Classics at 388,000 subscribers. They are the version that I'm watching it on.
All right. Yeah, I am watching it as a bonus. It's included as a bonus feature on the 1967 version DVD. And it's 50 minutes long for those wondering if they need to identify the video.
Yes.
But first, we will get to some exciting news.
We do have exciting news. But yeah, no, I'm excited to do the first official Bond commentary. I hope to do another one. Todd Michael is here, and I know that he is going to ASMR us. I must go to bed. I'll watch the replay in the morning. Well,
Thank you, sir.
After work, I think you should come home and see if the audio commentary is worth your while. Hopefully it's not boring to just the listeners. But it's going to be fun for us. So what are you going to do? Exciting news in the world of James Bond. The BAFTAs happened. Kat, what do you know off the cuff in regard to the BAFTAs?
It was up for 5 of them, I believe. For No Time to Die, that is. It was up for editing, sound, visual effects, outstanding British film, and the Rising Star Award. I don't know if it was up for best song or not. It won best editing, which I was pleasantly surprised by. I thought it was very well edited film.
Mm-hmm.
And it won the Rising Star Award for Lashana Lynch. But it got beat out in sound and visual effects by Dune, got beat out for British film by Belfast. Which is fine. The Belfast was an excellent and very deserving.
And also, at the BAFTAs, Shirley Bassey performed.
Yes, Diamonds Are Forever. I was surprised.
I was baffled because that was one of those headlines that I clicked and I was like, uh-oh, they wheeled out Shirley Bassey to sing Goldfinger again. And when I heard Diamonds Are Forever, I was like, Babu.
That makes sense, though. I mean, that film just celebrated its 50th anniversary back in December.
Yes, but does anybody else celebrate the 50th anniversary of Diamonds Are Forever except
No, but it's a great song.
It is a great song.
I still say Shirley Bassey's the best of all Bond singers.
Oh, I couldn't disagree. How many did she make? I know obviously Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever. Did she do Moonraker?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
and then she recorded one for Quantum of Solace, but they did not use it.
Well, who knows? It's weird. I'd have to check that out. If anybody in the chat knows anything about Shirley Bassey's unused Quantum of Solace song, please post.
It was called No Good About Goodbye. For a while, people were saying, oh, it's not that. But if you listen in the song carefully, you can hear the melody that's actually used in the movie in the song.
And I think you mentioned that during our Quantum of Solace.
I did. Yes, but that's a great song. I advise you listen to it.
Well, and I hate to be self-aggrandizing, but if like we are, as we were speaking backstage, we're almost at the end of this crazy James Bond roller coaster. If you'd like to check out any of our discussions regarding any of the James Bond films at this point, except for Never Say Never Again, Like, please check out. We got 29 other episodes or 28 other episodes. And yeah, some of them I'm sober in. It's great. And then also in other news, the European Union, no, that not that kind of news. The European Union's antitrust regulator unconditionally approved Amazon's proposed $8.5 billion acquisition of MGM, in part because MGM's content cannot be considered a must-have. Wow. Okay. So the deal is still pending approval by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. I didn't read the first paragraph. And so that's what I got. But MGM's film catalog includes 12 Angry Men, Basic Instinct, Creed, and Rocky, Legally Blonde, Moonstruck, Poltergeist, Raging Bull, RoboCop, Silence of the Lambs, Stargate, Thelma and Louise, Tomb Raider, I don't know which one, The Magnificent Seven, The Pink Panther, The Thomas Crown Affair, I don't know which one, and of course, the James Bond series. And this is what the EU and I'm just going to say EU found non-essential and not must-have.
Yeah, I can understand that, because as great as a lot of those movies are that you listed off, how often are people watching them on streaming services?
Once a week for like a year.
Right, but that's a question our friend of the channel, Robert Meyer Burnett, has brought up before with these streaming services which have a bunch of old movies on there, but they got to make room on their servers. So if people aren't watching it, is it going to stay on there or not? And it's like, and so they might have reasoned from that. It's like, how many people, as great as 12 Angry Men is, how many people in today's day and age are watching that every all the time? It's like, yeah. And granted, the Bond franchise, it's made, what is it, like 20 billion, in the neighborhood of Marvel money, but over the course of 50 years as opposed to just 13 years.
Yes.
So I guess they just determined that that's not necessarily an absolute must-have of a franchise, which is fine, because that's good news, because that means it's one step closer to being in the hands of a competent, financially successful studio that's not going to go bankrupt every 3 years,
That is very true. And also, a lot of those not considered must-have could also be related to the fact that either has been seen, added to collections, or widely available elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it is an antitrust commission, so they are trying to make it so that it's like, okay, so it's okay if you own the rights to this, and it's like, well, at this point, if you want it, you can pretty much get it. Like, do you have 12 Angry Men on DVD? I do.
Yeah, and I know that plenty of the films you mentioned are currently streaming on multiple platforms because MGM had been leasing them out. So who knows when those expiration dates are set for when Amazon will eventually, assuming the deal finally goes through with the FTC, when Amazon eventually gets all those rights back, and once all those other deals expire, they'll just be, prime exclusives at that point for sure. But,
well, and that's what I'm waiting for. Like, that would be really nice. I enjoy having the DVD box sets that you see proudly presented over my right shoulder, but I would like to see them. I would like to have them available to me in a higher resolution. And I know I could do that if I wanted to buy them again. But if it's on Prime, then
yeah. Well, you have the DVD set, right, for the Bond films?
I have the DVD set, yes.
Yeah, and I got multiple box sets of those DVDs that have been given to me by other people over the years. But I also have the Bond 50 Blu-ray set.
Yeah, no, I've seen and I admire those, and I have access to the Blu-rays, and so I borrow those whenever I need whenever there's a disc malfunction. But yeah, I do prefer the higher resolution, and I don't have a home theater though. You have a good
Neither
sound.
do I. I mean, I've got a small. I know I got a small kind of almost hexagon shaped room up here. And I've got a sound bar, and so it's perfect because the sound just bounces off the walls anyway. So I don't need like a huge sound system or any of that. And I've got a 55-inch TV, which seems much bigger up here because it's not like in a great room hanging on the wall. It's like just on this. And my Blu-ray player just shut off because it was sitting idly for so long. So I got to turn it back on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I just rest my 50-inch television on my stomach as I go to sleep. So, anyway, so when was the last time you saw this?
Years ago,
1954's climax presentation of Casino Royale.
maybe 10 years ago or
Okay.
something. I mean, it's a neat oddity to see, and it's kind of a background information on this. The producer, the guy at CBS who actually got it, he was in Egypt during the revolution at that time, and he was desperately trying to get out of the country, and he managed to get out on a flight, and he picked up and he says he made a very weird promise or prayer to himself. He says, "My God, if I just can get out of this country, I swear I'll make a film of the first thing I see when I get out of here." And when the airplane landed in, I think it was England or United States, wherever he went first, the first thing he saw at the airport in the little airport bookshop was Casino Royale. And so they ended up getting into contact with Fleming, and they bought the rights for $1,000, which is equivalent to roughly 9,300 today. And it was, Fleming didn't mind because it's just, it's a dinner theater thing. Apparently, it was originally broadcast in color on October 21st, 1954. The
Really?
color version the color version has been lost. And this other guy, John Sojenberger, found it in 1981, these two backup black and white copies, which initially did not have the ending on there. And the ending was located some years later, and it was stitched together for this DVD release, and then, YouTube. And it was actually aired on TBS as part of a Bond marathon one time. But
Cool.
so that's the background to this. And because CBS at the time is owned by MGM, or not MGM, but CBS had it, and that's how it eventually made its way to the people who made the 1967 film we reviewed last week, and continued to hold on to those rights until the 90s, when they finally swapped them for the Spider-Man rights. And when that company eventually became Sony, and then we finally got the real Casino Royale out of that in 2006. So that's how that story goes.
Yeah. Well, that's super interesting in terms of the acquisition. It's funny that it's like, yeah, no, I'll take the money, whatevs. And then throughout the years, it became such a problem. Yeah. I suppose how much, like, I don't know if there's a whole heck of a lot I suppose I do want to introduce the cast of characters. And also some of the differences. Obviously, you have Barry Nelson, an American, playing James Bond. I think he's only referred to as Jimmy once.
Jimmy Bond of the Combined Intelligence Service.
Yeah. Like there are variants and things that I was just like, this is weird, but there are components to it that still hold up. Like you can see flourishes of James Bond in there, even though you have to squint. But luckily, it's not a very high resolution video, so
he does have a little bit of wit in here. Some good one-liners that seem like Bondian one-liners for sure.
Oh, and absolutely, and there are certain artistic. Oh, what do you call it when you change something?
Artistic license.
That's it. Thank you. I'm dumb. But artistic license taken with the torture scenes and with the violence. It was made in 1954, and so there are definitely things that are sort of softened up. But I found it to be an actually rather exciting adaptation. Like I rewatched it about an hour and a half ago, and I think that there is still suspense involved in this teleplay, if you will. Barry Nelson, he absolutely does bring some charm. Peter Lorre plays Le Chiffre.
Yes.
Well,
excellent.
Have you ever been upset to see Peter Lorre in anything?
Never.
It's always like, yay, Peter Lorre's in this.
Yes.
And so he will obviously show himself, and then hang on a second, I have to look up the lady's name, not because I think that she had a career, and she may have. I don't mean to besmirch her. Linda Christian as Samantha Mathis? No, that's a different Mathis. What's her name? No. Valerie Mathis.
Yeah, sort of a play on Vesper Lind and Mathis, because they're kind of doing the composite character type of thing here.
Right, right, and it's very interesting. It's interesting to see. But those would be the main players. I forget who plays
Clarence
uh
Leiter of
Clarence Leiter. Yeah,
for
I
Britain. It's
didn't,
like, okay, you inverted that. It's like, okay,
which I
I can't remember.
understood. I understood that. Okay, so I suppose the time has come, unless you have anything to add before we begin.
No, I'm ready to go.
Let's go then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to watch 1954's climax presentation of, sorry, I can't get over saying that. It's the best. 1954's presentation of Climax, Casino Royale. And if you'd like to, I suppose you don't have any credits or anything. You're right at the beginning, Kat.
I just have the title card, which says what the movie is. But we could do our countdown for people who want to synchronize at home. Here we go. We're gonna press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Play.
Yes, the following episode of Climax Mystery Theater was originally presented as a live TV performance on 10/21/54. What follows is a kinetoscope preservation of this live presentation.
Okay, can you tell me when you see the camera?
Now,
Great. Do you have Barry Nelson's credit?
just a second. There it is, right now.
Okay. Tell me when you see Peter Lorre.
Yep, right now.
Great. Then I think we're in sync.
Yep.
Linda Christian, you say? Climax.
The third episode of this series ran from 1954 to 1958.
Excellent. Oh, you know, it is a masterclass on teaching people about Baccarat.
That's right. I forgot this had a host.
Yeah. I vaguely remember this guy. I feel like he played someone in something, and it's like, oh, this is what he looked like when he was young.
Probably.
All those 50s actors show up in the 70s anyway.
I'm very surprised that a broadcast for 1954 on a regular non-cable station was in color originally, as they claim. That's surprising.
Yeah, but that was also a ploy to try and get people to buy color televisions too, wasn't it?
Probably.
Makes sense.
Here we go. We have the rich, snobbish couple walking into the casino. Casino Royale, Act 1.
I do enjoy it when a doorman does his job.
I'm just kidding. They're not snobs. I just thought it'd be funny to say that.
And then bang, 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 ba-ba-bang, ba-bang.
I like how he's just hiding behind the column. He's not even trying to take a defensive position to fire back. It's like,
did they try to rob you? No, they tried to kill me. He does have a little bit of that charm. He is, but it's strange seeing a television actor do something that you've seen so many film actors do. And not to knock Barry Nelson, because he was in The Shining. He had his own sort of corner of pop culture and art. But it's strange.
Who did he play in The Shining?
He was the guy who interviews Jack Torrance.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning. And by the way, that Valerie Mathis she's foxy.
Yeah, they interviewed her for a little documentary about this back in like 2006. She's still got it. I think she's still alive too. I'd have to check.
Oh my God, look at him looking around. Oh, he walks in, he owns the place. What a haircut. You can set a watch to that haircut, Barry Nelson. So as James Bond, like this is the primary setting of the entire like show. It's all hanging out. Oh, we get to meet Clarence. Hello, Clarence Leiter. It takes a long time for them both to figure out that they're spies. So they meet for the first time, and they just sort of chat like buddies for a bit, which I thought was nice. It's a nice sort of adaptation of the relationship between Leiter and Bond, whether they be Jimmy and Felix or James and Clarence.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a chief. I remember I was surprised when I first saw this because I hadn't seen Peter Lorre at this time in his life. It was like a shock. I'm like, whoa. Very different in the last 10 years.
If you do get the opportunity and you'd like to see some later Peter Lorre, I highly recommend Beat the Devil with Humphrey Bogart. It's almost a Casablanca reunion. Oh, I just love the blocking of 50s television. Oh, Pete.
Very interesting that they're introducing the villain amongst these very much taller people, so he doesn't really come off initially as being an intimidating guy. Even her standing, towering over him.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
that voice is so perfect. The guy was born to play a villain.
Oh, yes. The tutorial of the episode. You know, and it only makes sense that if you're in a casino, you could ask a guy to bring you a deck of cards.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't want to get caught up watching the episode again. It's just fascinating. By the way, this episode was brought to you by Chesterfield Cigarettes.
Okay, now they figured out who each other is.
Yes. And I thought that was an interesting little piece of spycraft in terms of breaking the match and all that jazz. I'll break the match into 3 pieces. You have to make it into a specific thing. I thought that was really cool, and it fit.
Yeah, well, we need to tell the Michael and Barbara to get on top of that. We went from this to Hats in Paris. It's like, what's going on?
Although that is the worst looking scotch I've ever seen. Could it be any darker? Now, in the book,
I wonder what they're actually drinking, because I take it they're not actually drinking alcohol on the show.
Oh, it's probably Pepsi Cola.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It was in color originally, you say. So.
Huh?
Oh, that guy doesn't look any kind of suspicious.
Not at all.
So we get a briefing of Le Zephyr. Is that his original name?
The Zephyr, maybe.
Anyway, it's interesting, and we get sort of a James Bond teaching the rules of Baccarat, and I still don't know what Sweevy means, but because Leiter keeps interrupting, but this is the closest to me understanding Baccarat in terms of the book. How do you feel it is? How do you feel this show is as an adaptation of the novel?
I mean, they definitely compressed a lot of it because it's only 50 minutes, and they did Americanize it quite a bit in terms of his mannerisms and everything. But, you know, plot-wise, you're still kind of hitting some of the beats. Like this scene that, for instance, with him and Felix occurred elsewhere, and, you know, stuff like that. And introducing Le Chiffre and all that happened other places as well, because he had already been given the objective to go there and meet him, so he knew he was before he got there.
Right. I can't wait until we discuss the end. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, and
I've never played Baccarat.
I don't even know. I barely know. I only know how to play it based on the 1954 presentation of Climax. Oh my God. Like, seriously, if Barry Nelson if it is discovered that Barry Nelson is Brad Pitt's dad, I'll be like, sure, makes sense. Or grandfather, more accurately.
This guy playing Felix, or Clarence, I should say. He doesn't strike me as British, but he's supposed to be. Like, you could tell he's speaking with a couple bits of British slang and a tint of the accent.
Yeah, but I think, isn't he supposed to be? They discussed the French a lot, apparently,
Yeah,
because Le Chiffre is not a part of. I forget. You know what? It's been well over 20 years since I read Casino Royale, and so he's supposed to be a French undercover operative who's like he's a British agent who is working to uncover the communist plot in France.
yeah, right.
And so he's doing both, and I can never figure out which one he is actually a member of.
Right.
I do enjoy the henchmen. They all do meet their ends appropriately. Oh, wait. Be careful. Oh, yes. And this is where we discover that Le Chiffre and the gang, they are in the suite directly above James Bond's suite.
I like the fact that Bond wasn't even trying to hide that he was trying to look at who these people were while he was describing it. He's just turning around in his chair, looking over. It's like, yeah, okay, they're totally not going to notice that.
Oh, no. But Leiter says, you can look now. They're not paying attention. And when he looks, like all three of them are looking directly at the camera. And it's like, oh, they're looking, dude. They're looking. Anyway, this is a lovely meet cute. Although they're playing coy because apparently Valerie did know. But Bond is keeping it close to the vest here.
Yeah.
There's no reason that Leiter needs to know about Miss Mathis.
And there was a nice little quip. Don't mind going through a barrage of bullets. I'm not very good with.
Oh, yeah. And then they play Isn't It Romantic as they walk away, and arm in arm, locked eyes. Hello, the heavies.
Yep.
So Le Chiffre is going to buy the shoe tomorrow. He's going to be the bank at the Baccarat table tomorrow, which is, he's going to win. He's going to win hard. He needs 80 million francs.
Of course, Bond will see her to her room.
Of course. Well, yeah, she would prefer it the other way. Oh, elevator attendants. Can you imagine that people actually got paid to do that? How difficult was it to work an elevator?
I know. Talk about not efficiently spending your money for business.
Did they ever say what country this is in?
No. Not in this production, I don't think.
Okay. Oh, so James Bond goes in. He checks his room.
See, this is back when hotel rooms were nice.
Oh,
or at least this one is.
Depends on the hotel, lady. Come on.
That's a lot of furnishings in here for a hotel room. You got little portraits on the wall. You got all sorts of lamps and little doohickeys and stuff on the hearth. And
yeah, it's fancy. I like it. This is what I expect from a European. Oh, no. Heavens.
What?
Oh, there's just a thing in the chat. There we are. Everything's fine. Just for those who are listening and not watching, I have to apologize to Naked HDXYZ, online strips without clothing.
Don't give them any.
It's just no. Hey, I didn't mean to distract while we were watching the climax presentation. So Bond is playing the music awfully loud because he's realized that there's a microphone in the fireplace, and it is going upstairs to the suite above his through the chimney. So Lashif can listen to everything, because apparently Valerie has been sent by Lashif based on their previous relationship.
Yes.
And she seems really into Bond, except for the whole accepting money to well, I think she's being roped into it, much like Vesper Lind, roped into it to try and save his life at the expense of her own. Oh, there's just something about, and I'm not talking about Barry Nelson in this particular scene, but there's something about fashion in the 50s that, you know, bum.
Yeah, the giant wool coat thing that she wears, that this poof, it just doesn't, it looks a bit, no. Like, I can see if you had that on your back, but coming out front, it just looks really weird. And it doesn't, and I don't get the sense that that casino is that cold in there that you would be wearing that kind of thing.
Well,
but okay.
It's also bizarre that no one is wearing a hat. Anyway, the one of the henchmen was playing with his cane. I was like, what is he doing?
Maybe he's got a steroid microchip booster in it, like Zorn does. oh, Lashif's falling asleep. He's had too much to drink. Click the button.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's hilarious.
Bad guys are listening in on the radio, and this is great.
Oh, the banter back and forth. He's forceful, and you know, this is backhand Bond, but he still cares. Like there are, it is, again, it's a television show, and so they do want to drum up a not drum.
Well, you can tell she's clearly not happy with the arrangement with Lashif, and that's what he's, you know, picking up on. You know, the whole wounded dove thing that Fleming loved to write about in his Bond books.
Well, and he does say, like, in the show, he says, look at me when you're saying that. Like, he does want to see her eyes. Not like it is, there is a history, even though the performances are somewhat wooden.
You know, this is a little side note thing. This is just a personal pet peeve. But if you're in a hotel which has like elevator attendants, then I expect you to have like those really nice elevator doors, not those big industrial, like the modern ones which slide. It's like, you know, like the fancy, like you got an elevator attendant, you got to have a fancy elevator door. This is just, it just looks kind of weird to see a very modern elevator door in a posh hotel like this where you have an elevator attendant inside.
Well, I have a funny feeling that this was filmed in Burbank, California, and so well. But even in California, you guys have ornate elevators. I don't mean to be dismissive.
Oh, I'm sure. I just haven't been to any of the places that do.
Oh no, you know what? They couldn't afford to make the elevators go up and down if you had the gates.
Yeah. Oh, now she's talking to Lashif.
Yeah. And oh, you've done so well. Does he love you? Does he love you? Does he want to kiss you? Lashif trying to find out whether or not Valerie still has a flame. Of course she does. Does Bond? Well, we can threaten to kill you if he does. The only problem with the episode that I was, when I watched it, was that there is a drop off in a bit of Peter Lorre's performance. There's one specific shot where it just bottoms out, and it's like, I don't know if that's a problem with the recreation. Did you have any sound issues?
A little bit. I could tell the sound quality obviously isn't that great because,
well, it's not even in stereo. No,
and this isn't remastered at all. You know, like the fact that they had to stitch together the copy they found with wherever they found the ending, even.
Well, and
which I don't know why the copies they found wouldn't have had the ending on it, and that they'd have to find it else. I'd say that's kind of odd. It's like, okay,
In
You'd
terms
think
of,
that CBS would have it on file in their archives or something. I don't
but
know. Maybe TV stations throw stuff away after a while.
ask a Doctor Who fan who wants to watch William Hartnell or Patrick Troughton. Yeah, television stations throw shit away.
Yeah.
Or at least they did back then.
Yeah. Another thing you notice is that the lighting changes a lot. Like in this scene here, she's been talking to her. The lighting is getting brighter and brighter, especially when he's sitting in the chair. His face is almost completely washed out.
Well, and
you can see how big the spotlight is. The shadows that they're casting on the wall are so huge. You could tell they must have the spotlight like right above, like for a studio.
Yes. But also, well, it's so strange that they would film this in color, considering that most people are dressed in black and white.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it might have
need?
been an ad trying to get people to buy color TVs.
I guess. Maybe the TVs didn't have to work as hard if you had a lot of people in black suits.
Kind of like today, you just keep telling people not to wear stuff that's going to cause the moire effect because it's just distracting.
Right.
People do it anyway. Especially bugs me when you're watching a news broadcast and the anchors are like wearing that type of stuff. I'm like, do they not know now? It's like, dude, pick something else.
Yeah, stop wearing green to work, Carol. It's messing up the weatherboard. Sorry. Oh yeah, okay. So this is the most ineffective threat I have ever seen.
Yeah.
On film ever. I have a gun. Give me your stuff. I'll give you 10 seconds.
It's like, yeah, you're going to shoot me right here in the casino in front of everybody. The fact you're hiding that gun means you don't want them to know you're about to do this. So, yeah, I'm going to call your bluff on that.
Yeah. It's, you know what? Oh, wow.
He sounds like he's doing a Peter Lorre impersonation, the way he's like, you have precisely 10 seconds to do what they say.
But it's also funny watching like shows from 1954 when you know everybody is trying their damnedest to just be working next week.
Yeah, and then considering the fact that it's in front of an actual audience that, we never see.
Well, yeah, I did recognize that when the first gunshots went off when James Bond was hiding behind the pillar. And it was like, was that a scream from the audience? How adorable. Oh,
I do like the design of this in Casino. It'd be nice to see it in 4K HD, all that.
Oh yeah,
it looks kind of nice. It reminds me a bit of Casablanca or something.
Yeah. Well, and also I enjoy the aspect ratio and everything. It does remind me a lot of Casablanca, and I think that a lot of that nostalgia comes from Peter Lorre. But I understand the geography of this casino as I go through the episode, and yeah, the set design is great. The extras are great. Costume design is fantastic.
The guy standing behind Bond there almost looks like a cop, but he works for the hotel.
Well, no, but the thing is that, and I noticed this, and I was like, why is that cop hanging around James Bond? You'll know he called the police. Like when he got shot at, the maitre d' said, you have the casino police at your disposal if you feel like you're in danger. And he was like, yeah, I'll take you up on that.
The first meeting between Bond and the chief.
Yes. First ever on screen.
First ever meeting between Bond and a Bond villain.
Oh, and by the way, this episode was brought to you by Chesterfield Cigarettes.
Yes. There we go.
See, and okay, so James Bond, you're wanted on the phone, sir.
I like that. We sit down, we have the established shots, like we're ready to go. Oh, sorry, you need to take this phone call.
Well, and the thing is that he left his chips. I was impressed. I was just like, yeah, no, it makes sense. Casino Royale is it's a classy joint. So, Mr. Bond, if you win, we're gonna kill Valerie Mathis. And at which point, Barry Nelson does his best to look concerned, but I think he just looks confused.
Yeah, it's like Lachief is figuring, man, I don't even have to work that hard. Now I just have to tell him that I'll kill my own informant if he doesn't play ball. Like, we don't need to worry about getting dirt on him. I already got it. But will he be callous enough to fall for it?
Oh, no, he still has a job to do.
Exactly.
He's got to win. Miss
Kind of like
Mathis
this clip
be damned.
it's like this clip on the official 007 Facebook page. I made a comment a year ago. It was the scene when Bond leaves Solange at the Casino Royale. He leaves her to go to Miami, and he orders the Bollinger and the caviar for 1 instead of for 2. And I'm like, that is vintage Bond. He's going to leave her behind to do the job because it needs to be done, and that is more important. And I keep getting comments about that. A whole year on, people are still like liking it and commenting and subscribe on it. And I like this here. It's like Jimmy Bond is like, okay, is he going to fall for Lachief's threat, or is he going to do the job? You know?
No, but that's a really good point. Oh my God. So anyway, we have this guy. He loses.
Yep.
But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy a crane shot above a baccarat table, this goes on for approximately 10 minutes. I don't want to comment on the numbers of the cards, just in case I'm slightly out of sync, so I don't want to, spoilers.
Spoilers.
See, and I think, okay, so here's what I understand about Baccarat, is that if you want to bet the bank, you say banco. If you want to continue with the back and forth of betting, kind of like call,
yeah,
that's when you say Sweevy. Now, I could be wrong. If anybody in the chat knows how to play Baccarat, let me know. But that's my understanding of the difference between banco and banco Sweevy. Does that make sense to you?
I don't know how to play, but that makes sense from the way you explain it as far as what the difference would be. But I've never played Baccarat, so
I've
heard other people playing it. They just say, they just in slang they're like, you want to play bunco, even though it's probably Baccarat.
I don't know. I don't know. I've only seen one Baccarat table in my entire lifetime, and as I stopped to ponder how to play it so I could watch and figure out how to play, the security guy came up to me and he was like, "Oh no, you can't watch." And I was like, "I don't know how to play." And he's like, "That's not my problem."
Really? I didn't know that.
But because they say at the beginning of this very teleplay, they say that it is the rich man's gambling, the king's gambling. Like, this is the game that you play if you want to gamble. And
right.
You ultimately, what you have to do is get 9. Get 9. All face cards mean nothing. Ace means 1. And then all other card values have their value. You want to get to 9. It's kind of like blackjack. And if you get 2 face cards, that is Baccarat. It's like Jenga.
Well, it's the idea that they don't want you watching it because you'd be counting the cards, and then you suddenly sit down when you think you have a handle on it to make a win.
Well, but that completely contradicts this particular presentation, because Bond just walks up, he hangs out, he's got his chips, and he says banco, and he's like, "I'll fight you."
Well, that's different because he's not just watching; he's participating. He's agreeing to participate.
True.
And he hasn't been watching the table for. I've been in several casinos before. I've never actually sat down to play cards. I've played the one-armed bandits, but I haven't. I should try a hand at cards sometime.
I think I played like 4 hands of blackjack once and said that was fun and left $50 behind. But I don't think that and then one time after a wedding, I tried to get into a poker table on a Saturday night at a casino when I was wearing a suit. and basically got laughed out of there. And it was like, okay, drunk boy, we don't want your money. We'd feel bad.
And that's when the casino manager comes down and says, "Hey, man, you're supposed to take his money."
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it was a Canadian casino. I wasn't in Vegas. Actually,
Oh,
you
it
know
was
what?
a
I
nice
could have been.
casino, huh?
No.
Friendly patron.
Well, no, I wouldn't. Let's
No,
not go crazy. So
well, I
anyway,
mean, they're friendly and
I
not
went out
taking
to
your
the
money.
lobby and played Afterburner. So
I remember I bought a really nice like switchblade at the gun show up in Reno at the Grand Sierra Resort,
who
and
buys a knife at a
afterwards,
gun show? Anyway,
well, they sell all sorts of stuff there. Even Civil War era cannons and 50 millimeter howitzers on sale there.
I
So
know I have two
I went to
cannons.
go sit down in the casino afterwards because it was like probably 11 a.m. So not many people are doing much, and they didn't care. We just took out our knives, we're practicing with them and shit right on the casino floor. God, that was
So
years
anyway,
ago.
hang on a second. We're losing track of the show.
That's
James
right.
Bond he's lost his 26 million francs that he was fronted by Leiter, and
Yes,
now Valerie Mathis has provided another 35,000 francs, 35 million francs to final conflict with
yes,
Le Chiffre, and
yeah,
Le Chiffre has
that's right.
back.
Yeah, yeah. The bank's at 32 million, and he's
Oh,
sliding on the cards. Now he's pulling more. But
Le
yep,
Chiffre,
he's got 3 of club, queen of club, and 2 queens of club and a 3 of club for the Chief. And
and
Bond's
then
got
Bond
queen of heart,
has.
2 of heart, and another 2 of heart.
Oh, so he wins.
Oh, yes.
Bada bing, bada boom. Ba-na, ba-na, ba-na. Sorry, we're copyright struck now.
Yeah, so obviously this portion of this, goes a lot faster than the version in the movie or the book, or the other movie, the official movie, as I like to call it, the book.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
but the thing is that I really appreciated the tension. Yes, no, Le Chiffre still has 23 million left.
yeah, he's like, go for it. And they're like, sir, the bank is broke. He's like, I want the. Oh, he's gonna taunt him again.
Oh, Sweevy means follow up. It does mean what I mean based on the closed captions that I have going on here. Sweevy.
Yeah, my version doesn't have subtitles available.
Well, that's fine. I'm just using the subtitles so that you don't hear it.
Yeah.
Nufalabong.
Oh, 5 of club and 4 of heart for Bond. And then queen of club and king of heart for the Chief.
So baccarat.
Baccarat. Oh, now he's gonna get up. Oh, he's pushing his way through the crowd. It does look a bit crowded there.
I apologize for everybody in the chat. There was another naked person. I guess.
Okay, so this guy's gonna hold his cane up to Bond's back. Like nobody's noticing this either,
Yeah, no, this is normal. Look at that guy in the back who looks like he's Captain Crunch when he was young.
Yeah, and he's like, can you not see what's going on here? He's just walking on by.
Nope, this is
so much
normal.
for us helping. So much for the offer to help if Bond's in trouble. It's like, yeah, let's not notify the other staff to keep a watch on this guy.
What? No, it's fine. And so at which point, James Bond falls over on purpose. That is the big action scene of this act.
I like how after he does that, then everybody rushes in to help.
Well, and the thing is that everybody is so concerned about this cane after the fact. It's like a gun cane that was put to his spine that would be completely silent and make him just die.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Maybe
can I check your cane, Mr. Bond? Shall I take your cane, Mr. Bond? What would you... Dude, I'm running around right now. I clearly don't need the cane. But it's also a nice nod to the gadgets of spycraft as well.
Oh, it's a gadget. It's a gun.
Oh, you know what? Now that you mention it, I didn't notice a martini in any place.
That's true. That they're not doing that here. I guess
Which is
they're in a rush
weird.
to get just plot information, so they're not even focusing on that aspect of the character.
But it's so strange. Well, he's in a casino. You think he'd order a drink. They did get scotches. It's not like
Yeah.
they're being prudes. I love this shot. I love this shot of Leiter pushing through the crowd when you see that there is plenty of room on the other side of him.
Yeah.
It's like, that guy's an asshole.
Okay, this lady's wearing a completely different dress than Miss Mathis was, and he didn't recognize it.
No, I know. He just thinks woman. Doesn't Leiter remind you a little bit of James Coburn?
He does, in this shot in particular.
In this shot in particular, this is where I was like, oh, this would have been a better show if James Coburn was in it. I don't know how old James Coburn was in 1954. He was 12. Oh, and then the classic, for all you kids who don't know what telephones are, not cell phones, telephones. You could just go up to any of them and start tapping on them repeatedly and say operator, and then the operator would get you. So on your copy, is this now a sort of a different lighting or grain?
Yeah, it's getting a little worse here.
Yeah.
And it's now that he's going back to his room or her room.
And the only reason I say is just in terms of the meshing of two disparate copies that were available.
Yeah. And when they say the ending was missing, I'm not sure how many minutes that comprised. Like, was that the entirety of Act 3? I don't know.
No. I saw Act 3. Oh, no. I'm in my room.
I missed the Act
3.
All right, here he goes.
All right. So it does kind of ruin the illusion of him being James Bond. He kind of looks like a cross between Biff and George McFly.
Yeah.
But in terms of the lighting, I thought that this was a little drastic in terms of direction, and I didn't know what was going on until much later in the episode. I was like, what is he doing? Is he trying to change?
Like right now, especially now that he's trying to, like, standing in the doorway, the light just went super bright.
Yeah. Well, and it's a spotlight to show what he's doing. But I was like, I don't know what you're doing. And now, having seen the whole episode, it's like, oh, okay, they do fill it in later. But
yeah,
I'm like, what are you changing the number of your room? Now there are 2 53s? I don't understand.
He stuffed something behind it.
The check for for 86 million francs.
Yeah, he hid it in there instead of, giving it to Clarence, which probably would have been smarter.
Well, yeah, that's true. But Clarence was taking care of the cane and had to find Valerie.
I like how easily they caught him here, and Bond bragging on the phone like he's winning. It's like, no, like she just walked in, and now the chief's there with his guns, and here we go.
I like how nobody has trigger discipline in this show.
Yep. Yeah, everybody's already got their finger right on the trigger.
Well, and also, like, we're roughly 3/4 through this program, and have you seen James Bond with a gun? I have not.
Nope. Except the cane gun.
Well, the cane gun, which he gave away. Like, have you never played Doom? Just pick up the better gun and take it with you. They have highlighted the fact that Le Chiffre does have razors, like, all about him. He's got one in the heel of his shoe. He's got one in his cigarette case. He's got one in his hat band, which I think is interesting, just considering Odd Job. It's like, oh, yeah. No. Yeah.
Oh, you got that nice hat sitting on the desk there. I want to see him put it on.
Yeah, he never wears it. Like, look, there is a moment where it almost looks like Peter Lorre starts twirling it. And it's like, no, let's
Yeah.
cut away. Let's cut away.
It's a sleepwalk in the park for Peter Lorre playing this role.
Oh, yeah, totally a paycheck. Oh, by the way, Kat, I know you don't like Star Trek, but little known Star Trek fact, Celia Lofsky, who played T'Pau on the Star Trek episode Amok Time.
Act 3. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. This won't take long. He was Peter Lorre was married to Celia Lofsky. And so, yeah. Anyway, Jimmy's been beaten. Don't beat him so hard.
Hard.
Says Le Chiffre. Go light. All right. If you'll excuse me for just one moment, I'm going to go and I'm going to go to the bathtub while James is in the bathtub.
It's like they're finally starting to rough up. Okay, so they have Valerie tied to, I guess, the wall. There's no posts there to really hold her there. Okay, get Bond on the phone there. Clarence just filling in all the words on the phone as if everything's fine rather than letting Bond clue him in. There he goes. Sorry I lost your shirt, he says to Leiter on the phone. Of course, the bad guys aren't smart enough to pick up on that code. That's great. I wanted that check. Took me long enough to win it. It'll take you longer to get it back. Okay, now they're doing their version of the torture scene for a live audience, so it's watered down a bit. Oh, of course. He's going to untie her. I was making note of how she's kind of tied to the door, but there's nothing really to tie it to.
Oh, no, she's not tied to the door. She's just tied.
Okay, yeah, because I thought that was weird. It looked like the way she was leaning back. Okay, she is just leaning against the door. Okay.
Yeah. Let's not forget, she's just heartbroken. All she does is swoon.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so while James is in the bathtub, I thought this was an interesting sort of, I don't know, I was surprised by the nature of the torture.
Hmm. Yeah.
And dead air. So
I was trying to remember what the torture, and he's explaining it. It's like these bolt cutter type things.
Yeah. I thought they were used for cracking crab shell.
That too.
Yeah.
That's more accurate.
You can do whatever you want with them. So, but it's a strange thing to see the bare feet of people in such a nature. And also Barry Nelson. I suppose that's good acting.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorite things happens in here as well. I'll let you know when it happens. Oh, here we go. But I do like sort of the accommodation to the story of Casino Royale with the torture scene, and I want the money, just do.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not going to do the bottomless chair. But it again, as a 1950s adaptation of the original text, and again, in terms of the real Casino Royale, as you so eloquently put it, the official. Like this isn't bad.
No, it's pretty straightforward. Of course, they're having their little, more Chesterfield cigarettes here.
Well, and don't forget, everybody. Sorry. This episode is brought to you by Chesterfield Cigarettes.
Yeah. Oh, I love that the chief's like, oh, this is all going to work out. You'll just sign the check over to me. Everybody say you're such a good sport about it. It'll be fine. No, there won't be any suspicion.
Yeah, exactly.
And meanwhile, this Frankenstein guy behind him looks really upset all the time.
You know what? I'm wondering if in the 1950s he was a wrestler.
Maybe.
And he just sort of. Well, you're 6'2". You're kind of hefty. You want to be a stunt man?
Yeah.
Oh, and then Valerie. Valerie spills
Valerie,
the
shut up.
beans.
For that kind of hotel room, it shouldn't be hard to find where the screwdriver would be used. There are not many places you're going to find screws inside of a hotel room like that.
Cat,
you can probably canvas it pretty quick.
When I watched this, I was like, holy crap. How many screws do I have in my apartment? If I had
that are accessible as well.
Like, yeah. I remember changing the face plates on light switches in a bedroom that I had when I was 14. Difference of a decade, whatever. And when I replaced the face plate, I found 3 cigarettes. The kid had been sneaking smokes.
Not the best place to hide your cigarettes, but clever.
Well, no, very clever, but it was just very strange. And so I was like, "Oh my god! If I had to search a hotel room with a screwdriver and try and figure out where they had hidden stuff that had screws, I think it would take a while."
Mm.
Doesn't take.
It would. Long. I'm just saying it would, but I'm just saying that it wouldn't be that difficult to find the places in the room which have screws that you could access.
That is a very excellent point.
I like the little nod that the room he's in is room 53 because the book was published in 1953.
Really? I didn't know it was so quick after publication that this came out.
Yes, very fast. And I believe he wrote it in January and February of 1952. So technically, you could say this is the 70th anniversary of the first writings of Casino Royale for James Bond. 70 years.
Absolutely, you can. Not just the movie series, but the character in general. And also, people forget about Ian Fleming. Like, people forget that that's where the origination was.
Yeah.
And if you haven't read the books, I recommend some of them because I haven't read all of them.
Yeah. Which is potentially something we...
Oh, it's an action scene.
Oh, yes, he's going to finally take down Igor here, or Frankenstein, I should say.
Frankenstein
didn't look like he hit him very hard.
Also, watch how Barry Nelson holds the gun. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful. It looks like...
I like that Lashif and nobody in the other room heard this fight. Like they're just assuming, oh, he just must have beat up Bond again.
Well, and I don't like the director doesn't even accentuate the fact that Lashif has a gun going in here. Peter Lorre doesn't play it up at all. And then there's a...
Oh! And then we don't get to see it either.
Yeah.
We just know that Lashif has been shot. There he is. He didn't fire back. Notice how he kind of literally threw the gun on the ground? He didn't drop it because of the pain. He just throws it.
Like, is Peter Lorre shot at this point? Is James
Yeah,
Bond
he's shot. That's why he's clutching. He's clutching his chest. That's why.
Is James Bond shot?
No, I think he's just limping because he's walking on the broken toes.
Broken toes? I thought the toes got pulled off.
Well, if they were pulled off, he'd be bleeding out pretty profusely.
I've seen Die Hard.
Okay. But yes, he shot the Frankenstein guy. He shot Le Chiffre because he was clutching his chest. But when Le Chiffre walks in there, he literally like threw the gun on the ground. He didn't like drop it in pain. He went like this, like he's throwing it away. Now he's sitting in the chair, coughing and clutching it. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, and
he needs the check.
James Bond says, "Get the check and call the police." And as far as I know, it's over.
Yes, the end. Casino Royale by Ian Fleming. And
right.
You had it in French. Fini, starring Barry Nelson as James Bond. The credits is James in the credits. Peter Lorre as Le Chiffre. Linda Christian as Valerie Mathis. Michael Pate as Letter. I think they meant lighter. Eugene Borden.
I think they meant lighter, yeah.
Kara Catch as Le Chiffre's henchman. Written for television by Anthony Ellis and Charles Bennett. Robert Tyler Lee and James Duvall for the art direction. Produced by Bethesda with Dust. Blah, blah, blah. Directed by William H. Brown. The host's name flashed so quickly I missed it. I'm gonna check again. So what was the host's name there? The host was we could look him up and see if we've heard of him before. William Lundigan.
William Lundigan. I have no interest in finding out where William Lundigan is. I will look for that name. Lundigan is a very distinct name, though.
It is.
So
all right, that was Casino Royale. Like you said,
wait. No, Kat. That was the 1954 presentation of Climax.
Yes, that was Casino Royale. Not bad as you were pointing out for what it is, a 50s dinner theater show.
Yeah.
I don't know what Ian Fleming's feelings were once the big Eon productions took off and they couldn't get the rights back to this one. But
well, I suppose the biggest affront to the novels when in the adaptation is that James Bond is an American.
Yeah.
And it sort of betrays the gentleman spy. The thing is that it's so funny, and the juxtaposition of having Michael Pate, or whatever his name was, as Clarence Leiter, like,
yeah,
he would have been a fine Bond.
Yeah, he would have worked for it too.
And so it's early adaptation, trying to figure out how to figure out a round peg in a round hole, or a square peg in a round hole. Like,
basically, that's what it is. It's the second one because they're trying to turn him into an American, and he's not.
Okay, we'll edit out the round pegs.
And there is something to be said about the fact that they were able to get like a veteran actor like Peter Lorre to play the villain, and then they got Barry Nelson for Jimmy Bond, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess it's true that Peter's career was kind of in decline at this time. Like you said, it's a paycheck.
Yeah.
Well, Barry was all right.
Well, not Barry Allen. Barry Allen was the Flash.
I didn't say Barry Allen.
I'm okay. But anyway, I apologize. I didn't mean to. But also, it was Barry Nelson's first television role.
Yeah.
So
I see that you have a comment on the screen.
I do have a comment on the screen. Captain Marty Spock has recently done a watch along. He's been dissecting Back to the Future, and I'm glad that he is here as we do our inaugural audio commentary for a James Bond thing.
Yeah.
I'd call it a special feature.
Yep.
As you well know, you do have it as a special feature on one of your discs. All right, so
any other comments?
That is
reputable
the
ones.
end of the comments, as opposed to the Ukrainians.
Yeah, don't mention the other stuff they had to get rid of.
Well, okay. So you gave if we can go to Martinis,
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We got to give it Martinis.
we do have to. We have to give it a martini, at least one.
Yeah, I think I could give it maybe 2 martinis for what it is. I mean, I don't
Okay.
think the card playing scenes are particularly suspenseful like they were in the 2006 version. But part of that is because it's rushed, and unlike the 2006 version, where admittedly they do something you would never do, which is they have the dealer kind of explaining everything, which he doesn't do in an actual card game, so that you can actually follow it and understand what's going on, even if you don't know the rules or what's actually going on. Here, it's just like we're flipping cards and doing all that, and you knew in advance what Bunko and Swivy meant. I didn't, so I was like, okay, I get that a little bit more,
but I only learned from this show.
Right, but you pieced it together. So I okay. So there's that. Barry Nelson was okay.
True.
Admittedly, it's fun to see Peter Lorre, even though he's clearly over the hill, and it's not like really a meaty role per se. But I think it's still awesome that he and Orson Welles and Mads Mikkelsen are all the ones who've played the Sheik. So that should be a trend if they ever adapt the story again for any reason. They always get somebody top notch to play that character. So yeah, I mean, it's not something, like I said, I don't revisit this at all. It was just an interesting novelty. So like a 2 or a 3, I guess, for Martinis.
Okay, but
very 50s TV acting as well. I mean, I figured at the very least this would be more like, like a noir movie where they have all the dialogue heavy, but the dialogue here, some of it was a little cheesy and like, eh.
But you gave Casino Royale 67 a 2.
Yeah, it's true, but that at least had some funny moments in it because it's primarily trying to be a comedy, and I think it does succeed in certain sections to be a comedy, but fails everywhere else. And I did like David Niven, even though he's playing the over the hill version of Bond, so I gave that one at least a 2.
Yeah. Well, and Barbara Boucher.
Yeah, whereas this, again, like I've just explained, it's not. It's just as bad, but in a different way. I can appreciate it more for what it is, but that doesn't mean I enjoy it or really love it. So maybe a 3. I'll give this one the 3 martinis.
Okay.
What are you giving it?
I'm giving it a 2.
Okay.
I gave 67 a 1. And then in relation to, and this is something I qualified and you did not participate in last week, or for Casino Royale 67, is that I also, because of the specificity of putting it within the context of the Eon productions, I gave Casino Royale 67 a 3. This one I'm going to give a 2 in terms of television broadcasts of James Bond.
Yeah, if I'm comparing it to all the other Bonds, it would be like a 2. As by itself for what it is, I give it a 3.
Yeah, and I'm just going 2 for both.
I'm sure that rating would be higher if we were like in 1954 right now, because that would be like standards, and that would be like we'd be used to that being good. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know how people receive. Like I said, this show was on for 4 years, so it was successful, moderately successful. So I take it that they would have rated it higher than we did. I mean, I know the British press probably wasn't nice to this because you Americanized the character and made it kind of weird. It's like
well, and as you said before, I wonder what Ian Fleming himself thought of it. I'll have to look that up and see if I can present it. So yeah, no, it not necessarily the best thing in the world, certainly not the worst. An interesting novelty. I like to call it a special feature. It's good to see. But
yeah, it's cool that they actually found it and took the time to put it back together in its pieces to release it.
Yeah, and I did say, like, I think I said that Casino Royale 67 is for completionists, but I do think that this is better than just for completionists. This is a novelty. This does have a certain level of whimsy and, they did that, did they?
Yeah.
Not they, what did they leave there?
Well, and and the significance of being the first ever on-screen portrayal of a James Bond character and story. So.
Agreed. There is something about coming first.
Yeah, there
Climax.
is. I did. Yeah.
Okay. May I plug my show, Kat? Can I just plug my show for a sec?
Please
Okay.
do.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Fantasmagorium show. If you're not, you should like and subscribe. Everybody does. And we are doing a show called Set to Stun, and Steve and I will be going through the subsequent episodes of Star Trek Picard, and Terrier and Steve and I will be going through anthologies of them. So if you don't want to see the individual episodes on Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, then you can hang out with Terrier and Steve and I on the weekend, and we will let you know when that is as soon as we know when that is. But that is not what we're here for. We are here for the announcement of what will be at least the last recap review of Martinis, Gadgets, and Guns. James Bond will return, of course. But next week is... what one is it, Kat?
It is the Kevin McClory production of Never Say Never Again, the Thunderball remake that nobody at Eon wanted to happen, that Sean Connery allowed to happen as an FU to Cubby Broccoli, whom he once famously called on the Johnny Carson show the greatest Bond villain of all time.
Yes. So Sean Connery will return as James Bond next time on our 30th episode of Martinis, Gadgets, and Guns. And then after that, well, we have all the time in the world. We can do whatever we want.
That we can.
All right. Any closing thoughts, Kat?
No, this was fun for our first commentary. Only a couple bits of dead air. That's okay. We could shout out in the comments if you guys like the commentaries. We could do more of them for sure. And to think about it, as Scott and I have said, if given how long it'll be, probably till the next Bond film, there are a few other Bond things we could talk about. I do want to do at least one episode or a couple on the video games, and maybe some of the books because we haven't, because it would take a while to read all of them again. But there are other things that Scott and I could recap or do movie reviews of in the same time slot as things go on. And Martinis, Gadgets, and Guns could become a show which is sort of intermittent. When there's news and new stuff coming up, we can always bring it back. Because obviously it's going to be difficult to do every single week when, there's tons of other Bond content out there. It's just a matter of being able to consume all of it and then bring it to you all. For instance, I'm still reading my giant Taschen James Bond archives book, and a lot of fun tidbits in there that I'm bullet pointing some of it for proper episodes of things to potentially go over in the future. That'll take a little while, but we'll get there.
Well,
so yeah.
And also I think that there is going to have to be the ultimate, I have written down all the rankings of the Bond films and how we've felt about them. And so we will have to go through what we've said week to week and atone for our sins.
Yes.
Or at least look back upon
until
them.
Then.
Exactly. So anyway, much like James Bond, this show will return. Thank you for watching Martinis, Gadgets, and Guns. I don't mean to, sign off catchphrase, but I'm gonna. So, Kat, I will see you next time.
Yeah, see you
Yay!
Same time, same channel.
You know what? And the most important thing is that Kat and I will return. Thank you for watching, everyone. Don't forget to do all the things with all the stuff.
Yep. See you guys.